they're hard primers. They work in my Glock. They work in the Gen 4, the 34. Doesn't care for them. My daughter's Shadow System does. They're hard primers, but for the money, it's a smoking deal, especially if you're going to buy a CZ. That's one of the things you buy now because it's cheap. So I've bought a ton of them over the last couple of years. The other thing I did notice about them is they run a little hotter. Your same load will run a little bit hotter than like the Federal or something like that. You know, in small countries like that, all their ammunition that they manufacture is all pretty much for SMGs and stuff. I do in my gun, my Glock Gen 3, but it's worn. So the other ones, most of the other ones have a lighter spring. So actually, I think they're lighter. I don't remember. They were changed. Get that trigger pull down. But so it's, like I said, they're worth checking out. Especially if, like you said, you're intending at some point to buy a hammer-fired gun. It would save you a lot of money. Yeah, you get over 2,000 primers. Shit, almost 3,000 primers for the same money, you know. So, how are you doing, 223 DMR? Yeah, I was gonna pop on here. When I opened up my phone, your stuff came on. That's why I waited. But like everybody, you know, keep these watch hours up. Lives are usually pretty good for getting some subscribers too, which helps feed the channel. But it's going. Yeah, so it's worth trying, ammo. Like I said, especially if you're planning on buying a different gun and it's going to be a hammer-fired gun, they'll be fine. Tactical Dad, what's going on? How are you doing? So, I had to go back to work this week. My vacation was over. And I went back, and the first thing I did within 10 minutes of being there is asked for half days. Which is fantastic. They like to hear that. But what do you guys have going on over the weekend here? You guys going camping, barbecue? Yeah, it is. It's the gun my daughter shoots now. So I like, you know, honestly, you guys take this for what it is. I really like that gun. Like, I really like that gun. It's a nice shooting gun. A lot of people talk trash about Shadow Systems, and what I'm going to say is the guys that are talking trash don't own one. I've never had one. I talked a lot of trash about them too, until I bought that for my daughter. And the more and more I shoot it, the more and more I really like it. I'm well over my 4,000 watch hours. Not a sponsor. How are you doing, man? What's going on? I seem to miss you all the time. What are these crowns? It's all stuff you guys have probably seen before. We threw out, that's most of my CZ collection right there, with the exception of the 40 cals not here. My son has that. And then the other side is all Glocks. So, them are my two go-tos for USPSA or IDPA. Uh, most of them were bought for a division. So like in USP or IDPA, you have bug guns, and that's where the 43Xs or the PCR come in, or carry optics, or I don't shoot carry optics obviously, but carry optics or enhanced service pistol, custom defense pistol, stock service pistol. All the guns on the right are all IDPA legal guns. On the left-hand side, there's only the 3 bottom CZs are IDPA legal. I don't own a PDP. I've never fired one. I've looked at them, so I mean, other than looking at it and handling it, I couldn't really give you an honest review about it. The one with the darker grips is the competition, so that's the same gun that Muzzlebroke has. I tried telling him because he's saying what a great gun that is. It's a nice gun, but I wouldn't say it's as great as he thinks it is. It's a good gun though. The grips off of it, off the polished red, are actually the grips off of the dark red ones. Them dark red ones are G10 scale. They're aggressive and they get a hold of it a little better. Yeah, Bullseye, I met my watch hours like, I don't know, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago now. Still sitting on my long form videos because I got that strike for hate speech. So until that strike expires, they won't do any AdSense stuff. So I'm not going to publish content for it to sit there and not pay. I mean, legitimately not pay. So that stuff can sit there until August 1st. August 1st, that strike expires and we'll publish some long form content. There you go. Well, Bullseye, if you have spare devices at home, make sure them are running, continuously. I never had good luck like doing the gun wall or just that stuff, walking away from it. But when I was close, I mean, I think I made like 900 hours, 1,000 hours in like 3 weeks by doing some real long lives. No, my hours are met. Everything in mine is met. I just have to wait for that strike to expire for the AdSense advertising to kick in. So the super chats and super thanks and all that, I'm getting paid on that. They just, for your, like the paid advertising that doesn't kick in until that strike expires. So I'm not going to post content and be out of content. Shadow, I appreciate you coming. That's kind of cool. Everybody jumped over from ammos. So, but the thing with watch hours is they expire. So we had, I had a bunch of stuff from last summer. I don't know, once you meet your hours, they don't tell you exactly where you're at. So being I'm not doing any long form videos, I got to keep them hours up somehow. Otherwise, someday I'll wake up and it'll all be gone. So just keep plugging away. Ammo, you're going for the 3,000 hours. That's for the super chats and super thanks. So at 4,000 hours is when you get the full Monty, where they do the advertising long form videos. You will. I'll be honest, man. And I should have done it here. I'm going to tell people when they want to do super chats and super thanks to just go to a Cash App. I get almost all of that. When they do it through YouTube, YouTube's getting a fucking huge cut of that. And that's not right for the games they play. And then to fucking take that big of a chomp out of your shit is bogus. So we actually started a Cash App. My son set it up. So like a lot of times I'll come on here before my daughter and son shoot and try to roust people into being a sponsor for their match. But neither of them shoot this week. They're both gone. Yeah, I get it. So put $1 on it and then send a super chat. You know, when a lot of times, unless I'm asked not to, we'll do a shout out in the video. We'll do their match video, or whatever, however their day went, and we'll call it out. You know, hey, Orange Smoke sponsored this match, or Arizona Kid sponsored this match. You know, that's, I guess, I don't know. I get the recognition. I mean, it's cool to see it. You know, it's, when you see people donate money, it gets you excited. But I mean, if you guys are spending hard-earned money to donate it, for, like, in my situation, to sponsor the kid that day, then let it all go there, you know. So, but that's what we do. I mean, they're gonna shoot either way. The difference is how much they get to shoot, you know. If it's expensive, like ammo found out, right? All right, not a sponsor. Yeah, I'll be here. I'll be here for a little while. Probably till my daughter gets home at 3 o'clock or so. Just run some time up on this, and they really ain't nothing to say. What do you mean you just got another strike? Like right now? All right. Ammo, I mean, literally just now, or what? For what? Facilitating firearms, I bet. On the ammo channel. The one you were just on, right? That was your other channel. You were just on that one for the live. You have too many channels. I can't keep track of what's what. The M85A1 is, because it's got a tungsten core. Yeah, facilitate it. Fucking gayer than gay. Hey, my kid's here, so you guys may hear some chatting. He gets his birthday present. I bought him some new work boots. Kill him! Remember me on Father's Day. Yeah, I'm on. See if it's that.
What boy? What? 240.
240.
Yeah, hey, that's why I've been pushing off getting a new pair.
I know, but every year when I buy new boots, I always get you a pair. It sucked last year. Last year I missed it. Right size?
Yep.
Cool. I even tried it on. I'm like, oh yeah, these are comfy. I almost thought about buying a pair.
I would recommend it. I mean, once they get broken, and they're
I'm not a big fan of the cowboy style boot.
funky, they're fucking wonderful.
Are them the same kind?
Yeah. Exact same ones.
Not running for anything. Just wanted to sign. Coolest fucking sign ever. I appreciate it. Double tap that screen. Consider subscribing to the channel. If you're really grateful, consider doing a super chat or super thank you.
Cool.
So you're gonna actually wear them?
Yeah.
So I've never seen you wear them other boots I bought you.
I think I wore them like twice.
Well, then you try these ones. It's kind of gay when you're getting all excited over brand new work boots.
Yeah, it is.
But in the spring and the fall, I usually buy new work boots.
Ooh,
And
that
I always buy my son a pair too. Them I like.
The Tims. Those are comfortable.
Oh yeah, aren't they?
Yeah.
If you'd rather a pair of them, I got the receipt. We can take them back. Them are cheaper, like $100 cheaper.
I just don't know how long it lasts.
Them are supposed to be like top of the line. composite toes.
Because, I mean, these are also supposed to be, like, the shit to get, and I just burned through them like no one's business.
On what?
These Harriets.
You've had them for a few years. So what are you guys all up to? Jump in here. What kind of work boots do you buy? Or own? A couple of years ago, I bought Doc Martens for like 20, 25 years. It was easy. I didn't even have to go and try boots on. I'd order them. And Doc Marten discontinued their steel toe boots. Brunt? I'm not familiar with Brunt. Are you?
Yeah, I've heard of them a couple times.
Are they steel toe or composite?
I think composite.
Don't even put them on. Put the new ones on. Wear them.
That's what I was doing. I was tearing my old one out.
Fucking throw them right in the garbage.
That's the plan.
Who's the coolest dad ever? Remember, Father's Day is right around the corner. I love bullets, primers, hookers. Hookers are always awesome. Let's go to get a massage together. I'll even pay. It's funny because I was in there and I got mine. I tried on a bunch of shit. And then it was a full auto video. It should just be changed to age restricted facilitate. Yeah. Well, appeal it. Maybe say that in the appeal. I believe they have both. Not completely sure. I bought the composite. That's definitely a thing when you're a working guy, man. You know, new boots are righteous. Years ago, my company quit doing it, but we used to be able to do payroll deduction, and we'd get a company discount on boots. So like every 3 months, I'd go buy boots. So I'd get a discount. They'd do payroll deduction, and then I'd get an extra off for buying a second pair. So like every 3 months I used to buy boots. Yeah, I'm already on a strike, so it doesn't even matter. Fuck it. Mountain Man, how are you doing? Yeah.
Forgot how stiff new ones are.
I don't mind doing like a payroll deduction on them because you don't even notice it, right? When I have to actually go, pull cash out of my wallet, I hate it, but because I get boots, I get the discount and I get the half off. I always buy me a pair and I buy my son a pair. So.
Sweet.
Cool.
Alright, what time? 52.
Time you gotta be at work.
I gotta leave here at 2:15.
2:15. Well, hang on for a minute if you want. Yeah. Definitely, like I said, I don't mind doing payroll deduction. And when Doc Martens discontinued making work boots, I still had like 5 or 6 pairs of brand new boots, but most of us probably go a year, 2 years or more without changing out your work boots. But when you can get them all the time and they're cheap, like every 3 months, and I wouldn't throw them away. I would just break them in and then put them back in the box, But yeah, hundreds. But it's better than nothing. A lot of companies don't even do that anymore. So.
No, my company does them.
Yeah, them are rough. The other ones. I thought, when I saw them, I thought that's what you had. And,
Alright. That's the liner.
okay.
Fucking ripped out the fucking. You got a hole there in the fucking heel.
It should be marked on the gun. So the A3 has only been out, I don't know, maybe 2 years or so. Like 99% of them are all going to be the direct blowback. But when you pull the gun apart, just look, see if it's got rollers in it or if it's just a straight bolt. I mean, the straight bolt ones are nice too. I'm not going to say they're not. Yeah, I try to wear boots too. I think it depends where I'm working at work and what I'm doing on how quick I burn through them. But
Yeah, I'm saving my money on buying another pair of boots, buy car parts. So.
yeah, I know. I know. I pay attention. So.
One of them, that, like, matte black bullshit they had on it, that was bed liner spray.
Is bed liner spray.
Yeah, I got it off.
A lot of people do that. Stupid.
I got the shit off.
Let's spray heavy shit on our vehicle to make it even slower. So.
Yeah.
I sent a picture of them to your mom. I'm like, hey, I got these for Che for his birthday. And she's like, yeah, we can do that. I'm like, what do you mean we can do that? I already got the fucking things. You know? Thanks, April. You gonna give me money? Oh, you're not. That's why you got nothing for Mother's Day. No,
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I know you do. New work boots is always good, and yours were rough, so.
Yeah. Broke the steel toe, or the composite toe in them, too.
Did you?
Yeah.
I get a new pair every 6 to 8 months, but I have muck boots for hunting, fishing, etc. Yeah, I used to have to wear muck boots too on the farm, but they wear new work boots is all right, you know. So when I can catch them at work, is they get a shoe mobile that'll come in. So again, you get a discount for purchasing through our company, and then the company gives you some money, and then you buy 2, you get a half off. So I mean, $500 worth of boots costs $200. So it's kind of a nice deal.
Yeah.
At that point, when they throw in the half off, is you're still paying less than you would for one pair, you know. And then the company match, like I said, the company discount, then the company giving you money. I mean, there's been times where I've got 3-4 pairs at them because I just could when they stopped letting us go to the store and grab them. But yeah, that's what I know. I'm excited to shoot Saturday.
So am I. It'll be fun.
We'll have to. That's more or less what we have too. It's box trucking. You go up inside. They got benches. But I wish. And I was looking. They didn't have Red Wings on it this time. That's actually what I was gonna grab. And then I was gonna grab him a pair like I bought because I used to buy him Doc Martens too. And when I couldn't get him no more, he switched to a cowboy boot style. I'm like, last time I got boots, I bought him a pair, made him go to the store and try them on because they were the wrong size for him. And so we went to the store, which we could just exchange them then. And I've never seen him wear them, so that was money that was just wasted. So that's nice. So I figured this time I would just get him the ones he likes.
I think Gage has them right now, actually.
Does he?
Yeah.
It's all right. I bought them ones too at the same time. You see where they are. I've worn them once or twice. Yeah, work boots. Work boots are one of them things, man. You gotta have good footwear. You know. It makes for a rough day when you're on your feet, you know, for a long time. I don't know, you see them people, they buy like the composite toes, but they're like Adidas or there's another major shoe brand that does it. That stuff, they look comfy, but I can't see them lasting. Yeah, that's what I am too. You know, I slipped my foot in the cowboy boot. I think if it had the zipper on the side, I'd probably consider it. You know,
Yeah.
they're pretty comfortable. The soles are soft, but
One thing that I like about them, right, is those soles are still soft.
Yeah.
After 2 years of wearing them.
Mo, knock it off.
You know, yeah, the rest of the boot's falling apart, but the sole's still soft. You know, that's usually the first thing that wears out.
Yeah.
So, I would rather take. Yeah, the rest of this leather boot's gonna fall apart.
Does anyone know what the crown is? I don't know what the crown is either. Somebody was talking about that. Hey, sorry, I don't know if you answered my question. I'm supposed to be working PFF and I missed
So that's
it.
to its name.
I don't recall your question, Shed Owl. Let me go back. Oh, I did. No, the Strybog. Yeah, it'll say it should be marked A3 on the side, or take it apart, and if it's got just got a solid bolt, that's the blowback. Otherwise, the newer ones, the A3s, they have the rollers.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here.
All right, kiddo. I love you.
Love you too.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I mean, I could have made you wait another week, but I figured, fuck it. Right?
Right. Alright. Thank
Um,
you again.
Yeah, no problem. Throw the box away.
Yeah.
Remember me on Father's Day. Hookers, bullets, or primers. Any one of the three. Or all.
Okay.
Or we go get a massage and I'll pay. All right. I love you. Have a good night. For super something, I think. I'm not sure. When I was talking about the super chats and super things. APM, how are you doing? I need some more range videos. Now it's somewhat getting nice. Still had frost the other night though. I don't know if I've ever asked you where you're from, APM. Yep. Nice airsofts. This is like the elite collection of airsoft in Michigan. You up in the northern part of Michigan, or you up in the UP? I think we talked about it because you're not too far from D-Dog. Is that a real TTI or just modeled after it? I'm not sure which one you're asking about. The Glock 34? Thumb area. CZ sides are, yeah, they are. I like CZs. I used to compete with Glocks. That was my primary gun. And then I switched to CZs. So I still like Glocks. I still shoot them well. My daughter, I picked up the Shadow Systems MR920P. That's on the table, the bottom. That's what she competes with. But my sons both compete with, yeah, that's the Shadow Systems MR920P. It's a comp. So that's what my daughter shoots. She liked the Glock 19 size. Come on, move. And I wanted something with a comp on it for her. She's a little kid, right? So that fit all the boxes. I wasn't going to buy a Glock 19 and then stick another $600-700 into it. That didn't make sense. There was a place not too far letting people shoot blocks for cost of ammo. Glocks look sweet. Yeah, that Shadow Systems, I'll be honest, right? I mean, I like nice handguns. I really, really, really am starting to like that gun a lot. I think I'm going to be buying a second one. I know a lot of people shit on them, and I dogged on them too before I bought it. I guess I didn't see that they were worth the money. But the more I shoot it, the more she shoots it. I'm really starting to like that. The PX4 Storm with a Vantage Point comp is one soft shooter. I've never shot the PX4 Storm, so I'm not sure. I didn't even know that you could put comps on them. I didn't know they had threaded barrels. My oldest, for the longest time, he wanted one, and I just wouldn't buy him one. But yeah, autocorrect gets me all the time too. I blame a lot of my bad spelling on autocorrect, and probably about 70% of it is autocorrect. The other 30% is just because I'm fucking horrible at spelling. It's not that I don't know how to spell, it's that I don't proofread my shit when I read it. For the Shadow Systems, I find the U and the iron sights a bit too much. Yeah, I guess you can't really see them that well. But the ones I shoot a lot, I change the sights on. My carry gun's left alone. But otherwise, I put either Dawson or high-vis sights in. So like all top 3, all have sight work and everything on them. I say autocorrect stays undefeated. Yeah, same impatience. Georgian, how are you doing? So the Shadow Systems MR920P, it was just a little over, was it 11 something? There was no deals on it. I don't get deals when I buy stuff, but it's the Shadow Systems MR920P. They swing in price. If you catch them on sale, you can get them for under a G. Otherwise, they're over. You know, they have a few versions of it. The bronze barrel goes in a part of their elite package, so you pay a little extra for that, which it's not worth it. It just looked cool. You know, I got it for her because it looked cool. But she shoots it okay, especially the first half of the day when we're shooting. She shoots it better. Towards the end of the day, she starts flinching and stuff. No, it's not terrible. I have a M920 for sale with SRO and Ramjet. No one wants it. A lot of people, like I was saying, they shy away from the Shadow Systems. Should that gun cost the money it does? No, it shouldn't. But to get the same gun out of a Glock, you're going to be into it for more. So, Crunch, how are you doing? So, I would have loved to see Glock actually have something like that from the factory. You know, a Magwell, decent sights, decent trigger, comp barrel from the factory with a textured stippled frame. Yeah, I would have bought that in a heartbeat, but they're not giving customers what they want, so I'm not going to continue to buy their products until they have a product that I want. I'm tired of buying something and then immediately going home and throwing 90% of the gun away to build what I want out of it. It doesn't make sense anymore. So and I've been getting better with it. I just buy what I want to start with. You know, sometimes and a lot of the times you're better off. Especially if you ever go to sell a gun. So you buy a Glock and you put $700 worth of parts and crap on it, it's still a $700 Glock. You're not going to make that money back. You go buy a Zev Custom or you buy the Shadow Systems, it's still what it is. Not my experience with this one. I mean, the trigger's great. It breaks at 3.5 pounds. I mean, it's got a little mush like every Glock up here. Sights are good. They're accurate. It was shooting to point of aim. And it runs. So we're at about 4,300 rounds in that gun. Just starting to see a little wear on the barrel hood. And we've only had a couple malfunctions, and then we're all my doing for the type of primers I used. But it's run perfect. Are you still working at the American Insurance Agent? Yeah, I mean, like I said, everybody has their own idea, but any of the polymer guns, they all feel cheap, you know. I don't buy Glock as well. Spend $550 for a new Glock and then add another. Yeah, exactly. And parts to make it better. So now you have 1K Glocks. Just buy a CZ, right? And even at that, $500, that still isn't getting you the textured or stippled frame. That's getting you a barrel, a comp, and some trigger work. Maybe sights, depending on what you go with. So it's kind of one of them things. And thinking, I like Glocks. I like the way they shoot. I shot them for years. They run good. They're fast out of a holster. They point naturally. For me, maybe it's different for everybody else, but I really do like CZs. I like the way they shoot. I like the race guns. The Shadow 2, it's a really nice gun. And a lot of people, I tell everybody to buy a Shadow 2, and they ask me what CZ to buy. I tell them the Shadow 2. And honestly, that's the gun I fire the least out of everything up here. And it's only because it's in a weird place. It does everything that the rest do, in some cases better, but it's not a gun that's legal for IDPA, so you can't use it there. And if I'm shooting USPSA, I'm using a race gun. So, all right, Mountain Man, I'll talk to you later. You have a good day. I appreciate you stopping. Make sure you leave a like on the video. Check out the shorts. Show support there. That helps a lot. That's huge help on the channel, is people watching them shorts and leaving comments. Yeah, I'm hoping, man. That would be slick. I don't know. That's a kind of an uphill battle. I don't think we're gonna get it. That guy, how are you doing? Yeah, I don't know that I'd buy an FN either, but $2,000 you can get into some nice stuff. Like now you're into the Tactical Sport Orange 2s, you're into the Dan Wessons, you're into Romulan Arms, you're into or the Romulus. There's a bunch of stuff, a bunch of high-end competition guns that start there. Well, I should say high-end. That it's that upper end of mid level. You know, when you get into the high end, you're $8,000-9,000. But you know, the staccatos, the P, I think that's like $2,300-2,400. Which I'm not a fan of those. Yeah, the thing is if they get rid of suppressors, you will almost have to fight to try to find a gun that isn't suppressed, because everything will be. I mean, which is cool in a way. A lot of guns shoot better suppressed. Yeah, everybody has their companies they like. And I'll be honest, right? The only CZ I bought just because I liked it was the very first one I bought, and that was the PCR. The rest were all bought for competition use. Every one of the CZs was bought for a division. So, all right, Crunch, I'll see you later, man. Make sure you double tap the screen for me, bud. You have a good day, and I'll catch you on another one. FN has a good track record. They make good firearms. You have the 75. 75 is a classic gun, but if somebody wanted to get into like USPSA or IDPA, that probably isn't the one to get. The SP01s, that would be where you go with that, which is just a newer version of the standard 75. A little bit different grip, if you put the two in your hands together. A little different angle on the grip on the back strap. Then they have the optic rail, obviously, but yeah, I think we would get a lot of innovation. I agree with that. Not only in ammunition, but firearms. It'd be really interesting to see what comes out. Ace, I appreciate you, man. Double tap the screen for me. You were gifted it, so not complaining. Yeah, the standard, 75, the 75B or BD, they're classy firearm. They work good. A lot of people like to talk about them having a low bore axis, and honestly, the barrel, which would be the bore, sits in the same place. Half empty, how are you doing? On a Glock or another firearm, the frame is a little smaller and the slide's a little larger. On CZ, the slide is a little smaller and the frame's a little bigger. It does take a little getting used to, but there's plenty of real estate there once you do. Everybody's just used to having a big old donkey in their hand. Ace, I appreciate it, man. Hopefully we'll see you in the comments and the shorts and videos. Yeah, they're classy. They're good shooting guns, it's one of them things. Yep, I have one of them too. That's up there, obviously, you see that. Second one facing us. That Glock 44 is why I bought my daughter the Shadow Systems MR920P. And she liked that gun. She shot that a lot, and she shot it well. So when it came time to getting her 9mm, that was why I went with the Shadow Systems MR920P. It's loud. Obviously, it's loud because it's got the comp, but it's soft. I haven't seen anybody running the K12. No. There is people that they have the Tang Folios, and then you'll see, I think, what is it, Phoenix? They make a CZ75 clone, but you don't see the SARS at all. The Bodyguard is my favorite carry. I sold everything else because I stopped carrying other guns. Well, once you get something you like, it makes sense. Yeah, Ace, you're not going to find any SIGs on my channel. I like some of SIG Firearms, but, you know, I won't get into the whole thing because then it sounds like I'm on a bandwagon, but I've been preaching about SIG well before anybody else has. I have a real problem with what they do, and their lack of accountability and owning their problems. If I was to buy a 22 handgun, I think I would go with HKFN or Heritage for the revolver. Yeah, them are all good options. Another one, maybe a little bit better than the Heritage, would be the Ruger Wrangler. I have a couple of them. Them are pretty nice shooting guns. I got one for my daughter and my son. I've seen it all, man. I've seen FNs, Berettas, you know, 20, everything. If it's out there, I've seen it. The SARS, I mean, it's possible people had them, but I didn't recognize it. I didn't notice it. Your most common guns are all Canics, Walthers, CZ. You don't even see as many Glocks as you used to. That's probably the top ones in the SIG 320, which everybody's like, they're getting rid of them. But I would say CZ Shadow 2 is probably the most popular gun, followed right by a Canic. Them are probably the two guns you see the most. Then it would probably be, these are for like carry optics and shit. Then you would see the SIGs. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is cheaper. So for just a plinker getting started, it's a good way to go. No, I know the difference. So the SARS are all stainless, like a matte stainless. At least all the ones I've ever seen. But it's so one of the things when they run that type of platform, that like the Tang Folios or the Phoenix or the SARS, they're lacking is, number one, the trigger, and number two, they don't have gas pedals. So by the time somebody wants to get in that style of a gun, they're getting into a division specific gun, and so that's why they go towards the CZ versus one of the cheaper options. So there's a lot of goofy rules on what a firearm can have, what kind of trigger it can have, and depending on what game you're playing, you know, how much the pistol weighs or how big or how small it is. So, you know, the biggest divisions right now, nope, I've never seen a Rock Island Ortiz. I can guarantee that. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, if it wouldn't have been for my daughter, I wouldn't have bought the gun. But like I said a minute ago, the more we play with it, the more she shoots it, the more I shoot it. I do like the gun. I can't say anything bad about it. I would like to, but it's a nice shooting gun. And like I said, we're just over 4,000 rounds, so will it still be a nice gun by the end of summer? I don't know. I mean, so far it's so far so good, but there really isn't that many rounds through it either. But I will say this, you know, she doesn't have a great grip or a great hold on it, and the gun cycles. Even with her limp wrist in it, it cycles. No, I haven't listened to it. I tried finding it. I don't remember who brought it up. I think maybe Ammo or somebody on his channel, and I tried finding it, and I couldn't find the actual song. So you don't even see too many people anymore shooting 1911s. Like some of the older guys still will, but that's a hard division to be running in. You know, you're kind of stuck. You'll see a lot of 2011s, but the 2011s you see, they're all either prodigies or they're staccato. And then you get into the Atlases like the Athena or the Erebus, and then in the race guns you see Masterpiece Arms, and you see Infinities. So yeah, I haven't seen anybody running a Thesis or I can't think of the other one out there. Any of that Turkish guns, I haven't seen any of them. Yeah, so the blue, people like to say the blue shadows. All it is a grip. There's nothing fancy about the blue guns at all, or the red grip guns. The orange guns, if you see a CZ with the orange grips, them are hand fit, hand built, hand selected. That's their premium gun. The blue ones or the red ones, it's marketing. They had like the TSO Racing Green. Them were kind of a hybrid between the Tactical Sport Orange and the Tactical Sport Orange 2. It was a crossover period. No, I haven't seen a CZ82. Masterpiece Arms, a lot of people like them. And even like, you would think I'd see more Bull Armory or something like that, and you don't. You just don't see them. Double stack 1911s are so sexy to me. I can't get down with the low capacity. Yeah, double stack 1911s though, they're finicky. So everybody who runs them, and I shit you not, the guys run a course of fire, and you know usually the most you're going to shoot in a course of fire is 33 rounds. When they're done shooting that course of fire, they're at the loading bench or at the safe bench, and they're pulling their magazines apart. They're cleaning their magazines, and they're cleaning the gun. Otherwise, they don't run. They're finicky, very, very finicky. And the more expensive the 2011 gets, the more finicky they get. You know, you're talking like the Infinities. I mean, you're completely rebuilding that gun every 1,000 rounds. So some people, they don't mind, you know. Some people do. So staccatos, I am not a fan of staccato at all. STI, before it became staccato, before they split ways, STIs were like the cat's ass, man. That was the gun you wanted. That was the gun everybody wanted. Staccato, you know, they're a production gun, and they're not a great production gun. You would know it by the price, but personally for me, I've shot them, I've played with them, I'm not a fan. If I were to buy a 2011 and I didn't buy like a Masterpiece Arms or an Infinity or an Atlas, I would buy the Alpha Foxtrot Romulus. I really like that gun. Or that Kimber Y2K. I'm paying on one of them as we speak. But Jay Lee, how are you doing, man? How's your day going? I don't have any experience with the Glock 45 at all. The last Glock I bought was a Gen 5 26. So most competition guns aren't drop safe. So you know, staccato, they say they're service guns, but they're not. Just getting ready to go to work. There you go. How's that new job going? Is that still treating you good? Lipstain, how are you doing? I haven't seen you on the channel in a while. I'm not familiar with what a B17 is. Sharon, how are you doing? The only bone I have to pick with Masterpiece is they don't have better trigger for the Mac C. Yeah, the Masterpiece, I don't know. I was gonna buy one when I bought my Checkmates, and I bought the Checkmates one so I could get two of them, and they're still over $3 a piece. But I was already shooting the CZ75, the SP01, and the Shadow 2 a little bit, so I wanted to stay with that same grip angle. Like a lot of my stuff, my rifles and all that too, if I shoot them a lot, they're real similar setups across the board. That's because it takes less time to stay good with it. Currently saving for an FN Scar. My goal is to own every FN. There you go. There's nothing wrong with that. It's been really easy compared to what I had to do in my last gig. Yeah, I mean, the way you talked about it, your boss or your new boss, old boss, he was a pretty big douche boy. Your husband has a Taurus 9mm, loves it. A lot of people do. Some of them have been really good, some not so good. It runs all the time and runs great. The trigger smacks back after the pull. I emailed them. They said we don't have any upgrades for it. There you go. I like the Taurus 357 Magnum. Other than that, I don't know. Some years ago, I had one of their PT99s. It was a Beretta clone with the frame-mounted safety decocker, which is funny because that's Beretta's new thing now. They went to that. I had that. I have a little Taurus Spectrum that I inherited from my mom, and then I have a Taurus 357. So I don't have a ton of experience with Taurus, but that's my experience. The one I had, Jay Lee, I actually took to school and I machined in a groove like HK does with their barrels. I machined in a groove and I put an O-ring in there. Then the gun actually shot pretty decent with that. Otherwise the barrel was loose in the slide and I didn't get great accuracy. After I machined in the groove, installed an O-ring, it locked up in the same place every time. And every like 1,500, 2,000 rounds, I would change the O-ring because it would get eaten up. But I used one that was from a fuel injector in a Honda. You're eyeing the new 80X. I'm not familiar with the 80X. He wants a 10mm Hunter. That's a revolver too, right? You had a 22 Taurus that everyone thought was a 44 massive gun, 8 rounds. I did have one back in the day too. I don't remember the model number. It was a full-size 44 Magnum, and it had a comp barrel. I borrowed it to a friend to take it hunting, and he left it in the back of his truck. Somebody broke into his truck and stole it. Had a nice Leupold optic on it and stuff. Oh, the Beretta 380. Okay, yeah. That's the frame-mounted safety too. That's an upgraded model. I know what you're talking about now. That's why my mom, she bought that little 380 Spectrum. I've never fired it. I have no desire to. Trying to think. Only other 380 I've owned was actually the first handgun I ever bought. It was a Russian block, and it was a Makarov in 380. So it was a Makarov that was marketed and sold in the U.S. And that was back in like, I think they started importing it in like 94 or 95, and I bought it in 96. John, I appreciate you. 1-1 Deuce. What's my favorite one? Probably my Checkmate. I like shooting that gun the most. It's the one that the grip is actually starting to turn white on. That's not rust or anything. That's from chalk. So you use chalk on your hands to keep a good grip so they don't get sweaty. My daughter's gun, it's real noticeable on hers too. My middle son, I just cleaned his gun. I brushed all that out of the grip. Otherwise, his is usually real white too. If I turn that gun over, the checkmate turned it over onto the left side. It's like it got dipped in flour. But no, that's a Shadow Systems MR920P. If you're recoil sensitive by a 5.7, it's like a 380, but will actually save your life. Yeah, I don't think a 5.7 is a great self-defense cartridge either, but the gun you have on you is the right one for you. 380 is a great cartridge because you can stuff 10 plus 1 into a gun half the size of 43X. Yeah, I mean 380. I think that's its selling point, is the fact of the capacity you can get out of it for the size of the firearm. So, is it a great gun maybe for everything? Probably not, but in the summertime, in shorts, probably, you know. I will admit, though, I want to get a PPK in 380, the Walther PPK. I want one of them in the worst way. I only want one because then I can ask people if they want to see my PP. So, carry a Scar CPX and a MP40. Jay Lee says, I watched a video about carry caliber. His preference literally doesn't matter as long as you can shoot what you carry. Yeah. So, there used to be, and I'm sure if you look, to decompress a human chest, so like to punch somebody in the chest and take the wind out of their lungs, pretty much every self-defense round out there was 2 rounds. It didn't matter if it was a 9mm or a 45. It was pretty much 2 rounds to take the wind out of somebody. So you shoot them and obviously they get shot, but to like take the wind out of their sail, they said it was 2 rounds. Now obviously a 45 that expands out, you have a better chance of hitting something important. But 9mm projectiles, the technology, the 40, the 10, unless you're looking for deep penetration, the expansion of the bullets is almost the same across the board. Yeah, I agree with that, Jay Lee. No, even with that though, Jay Lee, like that little micro revolver I have, there's times I put it in my pocket, you know. Is it better than nothing? Yeah, it sure is, but would it be my first choice? No, but there's times you can't carry a regular gun, so that's literally better than nothing. Everybody has their own preference. Carry a gun with caliber your choice, and yeah, the more you shoot it, the better you are, and that's what matters. And let me rephrase that. It's not the only thing that matters. The first thing that matters about any gun you're going to carry, the very first, most important thing, is the gun functions reliably, and strictly followed by it's accurate, right? Them 2 things are the first 2 things that matter in any selection of a handgun. Samuel, I don't have any thoughts on the Max 9, to be honest. I don't own one. I've never handled one. I don't know that I've ever even seen one in person. So, the TP9 steel frame. So I put my hands on one a couple weeks ago. Again, I haven't fired one, but I did pick one up and we were looking at it because I get asked that question a lot. So we were at a place where they had one, and my impressions, granted I did not fire, so take this as just impressions. I'll give an honest impression. The gun was heavy, but it was balanced. The trigger on it was outstanding. The trigger on it was nice. The sights were mediocre, and it was an unfinished firearm. There was 1.5 tons of sharp edges. For a competition gun, I can see why people shoot them. Did it interest me? Does it do anything for me? Absolutely not. But I can see why people for that price range lean towards it. I mean, I can't speak for accuracy because I haven't shot it, but like I said, the trigger on it was phenomenal. But the millwork and stuff on it was sharp. Very sharp. If you really tried to run that gun fast, you're gonna cut the shit out of yourself. Yeah, I agree. Glock is king. You know, out of all the handguns people can buy, you know, there's a lot. Like M&Ps and shit would fall into this. But a good utilitarian gun that a person could use for a lot of different things. They could use for carry. They could use for home protection. They could use for hiking, camping. They could use it as a range toy. They could use it as a competition tool. A Glock across all them boards generally fits that category well. And they're easy to shoot. You know, the fact they have the trigger safety, not a manual safety, means they're fast out of a holster. They're not discharging in people's holsters. Yeah, I got a lot of CZs. I don't want irons on a gun, just a dot. Yeah, I don't know. I can shoot irons, so I don't mind shooting irons. I think a dot on a carry gun's kind of a, I don't, that's not for me. On a competition gun, it makes sense. I enjoy Glocks. They're overpriced for all Glocks. Yeah, they are overpriced now. I 100% agree with that. For what you're buying, I think $500 is a stretch for what you're actually buying. But that's people are gonna pay it. You know, $700-800 for a Glock that comes with a magwell, that comes with a comp barrel, that comes with, you know, some of the other goodies. That would make sense. But a factory Glock, it doesn't. Rival steel runs really nice, very accurate. Metco is okay. Yeah, like I said, I haven't fired them, so I can't speak for accuracy. But we did look at them just to see, right? High point might be better than a CZ. You're probably right. I mean, I can't disagree. But you know, with that, Jay Lee, you've never heard me dog on High Point, and I won't. For what they are, most of them work. The ones that don't work are because people don't take care of a firearm, or they don't know how to shoot something. Especially with a big old slide like that, you got to have your wrist locked up for that. At least 400 for a used Glock, but no ISTG. I see 600. So yeah, you got to look for the best deals out there on a used Glock. Is always like the police trade-ins. You can find some smoking deals on police trading Glocks. You know, the mechanic is what I just got. Yeah. So, do you do any sports shooting, or is it just strictly a carry gun recreation? So I don't have it out here, but honestly, one of the handguns that I really enjoy is the Dan Wesson, the DWX. That's got the tactical sport frame on it, and then it's got the Dan Wesson slide. I really enjoy that gun. Towards the end of summer here, I'm going to switch over to that and finish out the season, but stuff's scrolling too fast. High Point I always hated, but most of them work if you take care of them. High Point C9 jammed. Yeah, so that's been my experience too. They work, you know. High Point stays in that budget price range because they're selling them, you know. They're making good money off of what they're selling. I would tell somebody to buy a High Point before I tell them to buy a Palmetto State Dagger. Definitely. I don't like the looks or feels of the mechanic. The actual looks of the gun I don't care for either. The feel, it kind of leaves a little to be desired, but they have nice triggers. I mean, I think their big selling point is they have nice triggers. I've been to 2 competitions with it. What do you shoot? USPSA, IDPA, hit factor. Practice with my guns. I had a range basically in my backyard. There you go. You gotta go shoot them, man. Right. Same, I got steel targets and stuff set up. I need to clear some land, though, to make it better. I agree. I wish they would trim it down. Honestly, this is what I'm going to say about High Point. I would like them to come out with something. I'd even be cool if it were a Glock clone. I would like them to step outside their comfort zone a little bit, which they're doing with their AR. I definitely want a high point AR, not because I expect much out of it, but I'm just curious what they can do. And not only that, but I'd like to see them step out of their comfort zone, because I think they could. I think they could impact the market in some weird ways. You know, I got those infinity targets where I can spray paint over. Them hold up real well. I like steel. I like hearing steel ring, but the infinity targets, I mean, they're supposed to hold up well. Let's see. I lost some comments here. Went high point, gonna be awesome. If they drop an AR-10, yeah, like I said, I want to get one of them high point ARs. My expectation isn't real high, but I'll stand on this. I bet you it's a good gun. I'll bet you it's gonna be a decent gun. I'm positive of that. It's not going to be, BCM or, a LWRC or something, but it's going to be a decent. It's going to be a decent gun. It's gonna outshine Radical Firearms or ATI or Bear Creek or a lot of them. They're gonna blow them guys out of the water. KCI drums are good. Everything else, I don't know. Yeah, KCI stuff is hit and miss. EST MIGs are bad. EST MIGs and PCC, they run. I don't think we've ever tried them actually in a Glock, but we have used them a lot for Steel Challenge and USPSA and PCC. And they work. They're cheap. So, yeah. Well, part of the reason they're so thick is because they're that pop metal. So, pop metal by nature's fragile. So they have them on the thick side. Yeah, I'm anxious to see it. The stiffy point would be badass. I agree, Orange Smoke. How are you doing, man? You done with the work for the day, or you on your way home? It could be, I mean, it doesn't take a lot to manufacture an AR nowadays. Very few people make their own triggers or make their own bolt releases or any of that stuff, So who knows if they're even actually manufacturing it or if it's just their manufacturer's information on it. I mean, I'd be curious to see that too. Don't get me started on FN. Yeah, PSA Dayer is actually better than normal Glocks in my opinion. They have a lot more choice. I disagree with that 100%. My experience, and this is my experience, not your experience. My experience, PSA is complete dog shit. I bought one for my son. The barrel is out of spec. It bulges brass. It is not a safe firearm to shoot. I contacted PSA a dozen different times through voicemails, emails, messages, and they never called me back. My wife contacted them. My kid contacted them. So for me, they bought the right for me to talk bad about them. I wanted to like them. I wanted to give it a chance. I thought maybe it would be decent, but from my experience, it was a big negative. I doubt they make a single part of it. Yeah, they probably don't. I don't even know if they're assembling it, but it's a mil spec AR. It's a mil spec gun, So if it's got a decent barrel, it's head spaced, the shit's on it, it's all properly staked, it's gonna run. And that's actually one step over what some of them other cheap ARs do. I buy a Bear Creek side charger uppers only, and I've had good stuff to say about it. Not a DD or Geisley, but it's definitely a good budget rifle. The rear charging uppers I have no clue on. Yeah, so I've actually bought a couple of their PCC 9mm barrels. One was a really good barrel. It shot great. And the other barrel was dog shit. It wouldn't shoot for nothing. So they have the worst customer service ever. Yeah, when I bought them barrels too, I bought one of their handguards. And it was a free-floated handguard. It's actually what's on my son's pistol caliber carbine. And I had to contact them 5 different times. They keep sending me out stuff. They'd send me the handguard, but the inner barrel nut that needed to go onto the firearm to attach the handguard to, they weren't including it. And it was supposed to be included. And they sent me 5 different handguards. until they finally got me the part. I'm talking to them. They're back in their warehouse looking at them like, okay, there's the forearm, there's the inner part that goes with it. I need that part and the fucking 2 screws. And it took them 5 times to get me the right one. Now the funny thing is I have 5 forearms with no barrel nut. I think I threw them away, but they didn't even want them back. They just kept sending me parts. I just wanted one part. Very good. PSA. No one ever had any problems. Well made. Yeah, like I said, my experience with PSA is it was complete dog shit. The barrel's out of spec. It's not safe to be used. PSA could have just answered their phone or responded to any one of the dozen emails or voicemails, and they didn't. They didn't. So they sold me a gun that was not safe to use and completely blew me off. So they could have done the right thing and replaced the barrel, right? I had no problem. I wasn't upset the barrel was shit. Just, hey, the barrel's bad, needs a different barrel, and they wouldn't even acknowledge it. So that tells you that they didn't want to accept responsibility. They probably had issues going on. I know I'm missing some of your guys' comments. I apologize. I'm trying. You don't know about customer service? Yeah. Any experience with Taurus G3? No, zero. Zero experience with Taurus G3. Yeah, I don't know about the Jackal. See, I wanted to like PSA, and that was why I took a gamble on them with a cheap gun. I thought if that was decent, I wanted to check out a Jackal. I wanted some of their AKs. They left me with a sour taste. It's kind of hard to want to buy more of their products. I understand, right? Things get through. You know, quality control is quality control. Unless you're doing 100% part inspection, which you don't. You do batches, piecework. You know, 1 out of 10 is inspected, 1 out of 100, whatever it is. But when they blew me off, that just made me not want to do any business with them. Yeah, PSA. Well, remember, PSA is a gun store too. So they have 2 actual brick and mortar gun stores. So yes, they absolutely do sell other people's products. And that's part of their store. You know, there's one store, I think it's in Atlanta, and I don't recall where the other one is, but they have 2 stores, 2 brick and mortar stores. If I'm missing your comments, I apologize. Had a Cimarron 1911 and a Glock 43 your pops bought you. There you go. Both good choices. They completely redesigned the Jackal. It's a different gun from what Gen 1. Way better design and build quality. Yeah, that's my understanding too, is they're having good lucks with them. I like their PCC that they came out with, their 9mm Jackal. And see, I'm telling you this, I would love to buy their products, but I can't. I won't. They did me dirty, you know. The Bear Creek was supposed to be cold hammer forged and split both sides on your hand. Then all the emails and calls and nothing. Yeah, some companies are like that, man. That's the same thing. So, you know, for like you, no matter what Bear Creek comes out with, you're never going to purchase their products again, right? Never. Yeah, if the company can't even reply to you, then that's a company you don't mess with. Exactly. Exactly my point. I wouldn't, like I said, I wasn't upset. Same with you. Okay, it happened, shitty, whatever. But if the company made it right, if they just, oh, all right, cool, send the barrel in, send the gun in, or here's the barrel, or you know, whatever it would have been, okay, cool. I wasn't mad. I wasn't really inconvenienced. You know, things happen, but to completely ghost you and to not want to make it right, well, if they can't stand behind their products, that says a lot about a company. And a lot of companies you deal with, people talk, customer service makes or breaks you. Number one, you don't hear about the positive things from a company. You hear about the negative things. This gun did this didn't work, blah, 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 blah. But then the next thing is, how did the company take care of it? Was it no questions asked? Here's the shit. You know, it was, you know, if they're that way, you feel good about doing business with them. You want to do business with them. Yeah, so... And again, you know, we all have different experiences. who knows how I got lost in translation. And I could even understand, right, that hey, I called or emailed once, but I called at least a dozen times. I left a dozen different emails. My wife did the same thing, and when her and I gave up, my son did it too because I bought him the gun, um, and he never got anything. So that's a whole lot of just slipped through the chat. Crap part is I have 50 Beowulf I bought before that it was fine, but now everyone is afraid to touch it. Yeah, it's a big round. Ammo, hi. So, when I bought my Dan Wesson, the DWX, we went out and shot it. I still don't have an optic on there, but it's got an optic plate. It's a rear sight module, I guess, that's screws to the frame where the optic actually would. And I lost a screw. They weren't Loctited in. Most people are going to pull it off. And I called CZ, right? Talked to the guy, told him what I needed, and he's up, no problem. And they sent me the screw, and it was the wrong screw. And so I called him again. It was like a week later, and I started talking to the guy, and he knew who I was. Sent me the wrong screw again. I called back a week later, and they sent me 2 screws, but it was still the wrong screw. They were sending me the wrong screws. They knew by the 3rd time I called, they knew my voice. It sucked that I got the wrong screws. They did eventually give me the right screw. They gave me some stickers, blah, blah, blah. But by the 2nd time I called him, the guy knew who I was. He was able to pull up my information without asking for it. He was able, type away, yep, here you are. Who does that? I mean, you could say it sucks that you called this company 3-4 times to get the right part, but I called the company 3-4 times and the guy knew who I was. He wasn't so busy and so swamped that he had all this shit going on. Georgian, you posted your first video. What'd you post it on? Obviously, I can't pull it up right now, but I will. Yeah, so the DWX I have it's a solid gun. It's a great shooter, phenomenal gun. And in my, I mean, it's not even in my defense. In their defense, when I checked the gun over after I shot it the first time, I saw the screw was loose. I tightened it up. I should have Loctited it because they don't Loctite the ship because you buy an optics ready gun. What are you guys going to do when you buy an optics ready gun? You're going to put a dot on it. I buy optics ready guns now because you're retarded if you don't. I still prefer iron sights on pistols, but you're losing a lot of money on the value of a gun if you don't buy optics readies because nobody's going to ever want that gun that isn't. Even sent them pictures of the burn on your hands. Handguard is all that saved me. Yeah. And see, that's quality control. The thing with PSA, so like, the looser your quality is, number one, the looser your specs are, but then the looser your quality is. So rather than checking every part, you'll check every 100 parts or every 500, every 1,000. That saves the company a lot of money because they're not paying that employee. They're not having as many rejects. Their quality standards are looser. And you're paying for that. But no matter what, a company should stand behind their products. Are they going to compensate you and be like, hey, here's $100,000. Sorry, the gun came apart? No. But very least, send you a new gun, right? Send it in. Let's look at it. We'll determine what happened. And, they can blame you. Hey, it was something you did. Probably wasn't. But here, let's replace it. And every company ends up having issues. Daniel Defense, BCMM, Lewis Machine, there isn't a company out there that doesn't have, at some time or another, issues with quality. Dan Wesson, people come and go. They try to push products through. They're trying to make sales quotas or production quotas. It happens. You get new people, lazy people, who knows? Anything could happen, But as long as a company stands behind their products, then I can do business with them. But High Point, I used to have my shop, and all my years that I had my shop, I only ever sold sent one High Point back. and it was one that a customer took apart and lost some pieces, and rather than them sending me pieces, they sent a call tag, and within a week the gun was back. No charge. I don't have any SIGs at all. Nothing. Yeah. Uh, used to be okay, but yeah, again, you know, companies start selling a lot of products. Um, they get exponential growth, and they start trying to match that growth. Once a company starts growing, they don't want it to go down. They want to keep on the upward trajectory. And when they start selling less guns, um, their numbers go down, so they shortchange things, or they start selling more guns than they're actually capable of uh, producing at a quality standard, and they start letting shit get through. Sig 320, yeah, 320 superior. What fun would that be? You gotta bang it on the ground. I did want to buy. I did want to buy a Sig at one point. I wanted their, what is it, the M17, the military version, just to have a copy of the current uh, U.S. service pistol, and I just can't do it. I want one, but I won't do it. Seth Rogen. I did see that. That's hilarious. Beat on it with hammer and dropped it. Never went off. So their problems all come down to tolerance stacking, and they keep redesigning parts. You know, they have a great trigger in them, and that's part of the problem. Um, yeah, I did see that. That's funny as hell. Uh, it wasn't GTA though. It was like a Call of Duty or Modern Warfare or something. That's why you sold it. 365. Buy the Larson 380. The company and ATF said it's not safe, and I can't. I'm not familiar with the Larson 380. Uh, did you ever get your? Didn't you send a Beretta in, Jaylee? I think you were talking about that. Did you ever send that in? You know, the thing is too is like what gun you get depends highly on what you're going to use it for. You know, a good carry gun isn't always a great competition gun, and obviously, vice versa. You know, if you're gonna have carry guns or service guns, should they have a 3.5 pound trigger, 3 pound trigger? Probably not. Should they be drop safe? Absolutely. Um, TC, hi, how are you? Uh, saw it on Brandon Herrera. Said probably. I could be wrong too. Maybe it was, but I saw it too. I think that was where I saw it was Brandon O'Hara, his gun meme video he did a few days ago. Yeah, okay, so I was right. So I shot one that was center of the target with irons, brand new, never been fired. It was way off. Had to aim 5 feet, and that's shitty too. You know, guns should be zeroed from the factory. That again. That comes down to poor quality control. That's somebody saying, "Oh, fuck it, good enough," because they have a quota. They have to have so many units manufactured, or they're getting performance reviews. You have a security 380. It doesn't cycle hollow points. Failure to feed every time. Believe it or not, a lot of guns are finicky with hollow point ammunition. It's because of the profile of the bullet. Most of them are usually blunt. Uh, so I think he was last month. Bro, that's the way 1911, this is Braun's house. Yeah, 1911s too. They were never designed for hollow point ammunition. They were designed for 230 grain ball ammunition. Berettas or Beretta style pistols, they're pretty finicky on hollow point ammunition too. I love the shitty gun though, yeah. I got some Simex Defense. It didn't work in the Prime. Went to my local shop. He said, great feedback. Now take a box of Target. And I want more feedback. There you go. That's decent guy. Treating you right. Yep. So it's going to, because it nosedives. That's part of the reason, you know, the ball ammo feeds, because it's round. It pushes up the feed ramp. So, I mean, it sucks that firearms do that, but there's a lot of them that do. 1911 platforms, 2011 platforms are known for that. Some are better than others. Full-size 1911s. I don't know if it's a problem in 10 millimeter or 40. I have no experience with that. Size 45 ACPs, they're finicky that way. Berettas, Beretta 40 cal, Beretta 9 millimeter, the Beretta 380s, and as well as like the clone guns, the Taurus and the TS, they're all finicky with hollow point ammunition. Part of that is like some of these countries produce guns and they don't have that ammunition available in their country. Like a lot of the European countries, they can't have hollow point ammunition, so they don't design a firearm to work around hollow point ammunition. You know. Let's see. But you guys do me a solid, because we got a bunch of people that have been coming through. Make sure you double tap that screen. Yes, I have cans. I don't show any NFA stuff on this channel. I had a channel that I used to post on, and it was primarily all class 3 items, and I lost the channel after years of work at it, so I don't do that anymore. Got silencers, yeah, true man, never thought of it like that. I agree with the sign. I appreciate you, Rhodes. How are you doing? That's why we love the black market. Okay. I'm not going to boot you yet, but, you know, don't talk like you're 10 years old saying stupid stuff, or I will. Knew it. Good idea. I'm going to try to run hollow points through the... yeah, I would bet it's going to run. So... but like I said, it's not an uncommon thing. That's why you don't ever buy a gun or brand new type of ammunition, then start staking your life on it, because some things don't run. A lot of times it's due to the profile of the bullet. Sometimes, you know, it could be a lot of things. From manufacturer to manufacturer, some load ammunition longer, some load it shorter. Obviously, you know, different power factors. So you have to test. You not only have to test it for function, but you got to test for accuracy. Come on. So, Tizan, I don't know if you're 10 or not, but what I can tell you, you say stupid stuff like that. I don't time people out. I just boot them from the channel. So it was great knowing you. Good luck. How are you doing, Harley?
Good.
Good.
Megan can't get me today because she's in Milwaukee. No, it's because she hasn't bailed on me in 2 weeks.
I felt bad because the shop owner took a loss, but made up for, picked up some Laser. Yeah, most shop owners take care of stuff. Some of the local, you know, I don't even buy ammunition. Only ammunition I generally buy factory from a store is 50 BMG. Otherwise, everything I usually load. Usually, we do have a stock of factory 9mm. When we go shoot matches, we bring a few thousand rounds of factory ammunition. Sometimes I've sold some to people as they have gun issues. Sometimes, in case we have issues, we have backup round. We usually, I don't know, maybe not quite 1,000, but there's enough that if we had to, we could all shoot it. But I get shops all the time that give me ammo to go test. And I do the right thing. I actually go test it. We check it for accuracy in several platforms. We do chronograph readings. But okay, I guess I'm gonna get out of here. My daughter's home, so if you guys haven't, give it a thumbs up. Alex, I don't want to blow you off. Yes, I have revolvers. I have several of them. I felt like glowing. I don't know. I like to show Glocks. I like to show the CZs. So, yeah, well, I've been the guy at a range where the ammunition I had stopped working. So, you know, nobody's going to just give you anything for free. And I still have people that owe me money. But I've had people borrow me ammo. I've had people sell me ammunition. I've had people sell me batteries, you know, and I've done the same for them. So we bring factory ammunition just in case we have issues. Like if you get a squib, and I've loaded some. You get 2 squibs in a match. The first one, you're on notice. If it happens twice, you're disqualified. So if you have a batch of ammunition and you just popped a squib out of it, you put that ammo away and you run factory ammunition the rest of the day. Then you reevaluate your ammunition. But with that, I mean, I hope you guys are all subscribed to the channel. I appreciate you coming. Consider coming back to the channel. Consider supporting the channel through super chats, super thanks. Anything that we make off of them goes to one of the kids that we take shooting. We post videos, match footage, pretty much weekly. If you guys ever want to see something or want more detail on it, just reach out and tell me. We'll make it happen. So with that, gentlemen, ladies, things, I will catch you next time. Be good.